Hi Hermit, it's Dara here, and today I am going to be showing you how I keep my Kindle organised. Now, the inspiration for this video came from a chat that I was having in somebody's Discord channel. Who was it? I have no idea, to be honest. I'm in a few different Discords, and we're having a conversation about the chaos of Kindles, particularly when you're a bit of a hoe for the 99p deal, which I am. A result of this is you can end up with hundreds, possibly even thousands of unread books on your Kindle. And I know that for me, when that is the case, I tend to forget about the many books I bought previously, and I only read some of my most recent purchases, and that's just not a way to live. So I've developed a system, it's very simple, for keeping track of all of my Kindle books and really making sure that I'm reading a wider variety of the books that I own. Now, I do actually have a spreadsheet where I keep a log of all of my books, so physical books, audiobooks, Kindle books, and I do that really just to help me keep track of everything. Not just because I am like a wannabe librarian in my mind, but also it helps me when it comes to like going out and shopping, like if I'm ever in bookshops or at car boot sales or charity shops or anything like that and I'm perusing shelves. Sometimes I need to check if I already own something, especially if it's something in a series and I'm not 100% sure of the title. So I like to keep everything in a spreadsheet. It also helps me just prioritize reading the books that I already own because they're there in front of me. I feel very shamed by the total number, and so I'm sort of in that zone. And then last but not least, it's also really helpful for whenever I do things like readathons or reading challenges or anything like that where I'm reading to a particular prompt. Because I can very easily go and look at all of the titles of the things I own, and I'm not having to like look at shelves and look at different apps and sort of run all over the place. The same can be said if I'm planning themed videos. I can very easily then like filter things out and scroll and find things because I do have sort of a tagging system inside of my spreadsheet. I'm not going to be showing you that today. If that's something that you would be interested in, by all means, let me know in the comments and I can film a little tour of that too. But for now, I'm going to be showing you how I organize my Kindle. Now, I'm going to be showing you this on my iPad, partly because it's a lot easier to see on the iPad, it's a bigger screen, and also because I do read a lot of my Kindle books on the iPad. Like I'm actually not snobby at all when it comes to how I read my ebooks. Sometimes I'll use the desktop app, like if I'm at my desk, if I'm working. Sometimes I will use my iPad, like I said. Sometimes I use my Kindle, I have the Paperwhite, and then sometimes I use my phone. That's one thing I love about Kindle. It does sync across all of these different places. So why not take advantage of that? That's my view anyway. Okay, so to the Kindle organization system. The first thing to note is that I keep my Kindle books organized by using collections, which is sort of a folder filing feature that comes with Kindle. And you can create collections in a number of ways. You can create them on your actual Kindle, you can create them on another device like an iPad in the Kindle app, and you can also create them directly from your Amazon account. You can make sure that these sync across all of the different devices that you read on for extra ease. That's what I do. You might just have to double check how to do that if you have like a different type of Kindle or like different devices that you use, because it might be like slightly different just for older generation Kindles. So I'm not going to give you the steps for making sure everything is synced. Google is your best friend on that front. That's how I figured it out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and just hold it over the screen so you can see what's going on. I don't have a fancy tripod set up. It's late on a Sunday evening and I just want to be cozy and chill and relaxed about this. So if the camera is a little bit shaky, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm imperfect. Let's get to it. Okay, so you're looking at my iPad right now, and let's go ahead and open the Kindle app. Yes, I color code my apps. What can I say? So obviously when you open your Kindle app, particularly on an iPad, this is what you're going to see. So you're going to see your recommendations, you're going to see your reading streaks, all of that good stuff. And you want to go ahead and tap library. So I've set it as the default right now. So this is what most people's Kindle will look like. It will be like a mosaic of all of the covers. I actually use the collection. So you want to tap the arrows right there and simply tick collections. And so you'll see the different folders that I have right here. Now let me talk you through what I use. So the first things I want to tell you about are three very important folders. So we have the red folder. So anything that I complete goes in that folder. We have the TBR folder, which is anything that I'm either currently reading or would like to read imminently. And we have the not for me folder. So those are things that I've either DNF'd or changed my mind about. Anything I've decided is no longer something I'm interested in ends up in that folder. Because honestly, if there are things that maybe I have sampled or I've tried something by that author or is just no longer something that vibes with my reading mood, I will move it into that folder because it helps me feel like I'm unhauling, like I'm decluttering, and like I'm only faced with books that I'm genuinely interested in reading. So those are three of the most functional folders that I use. And then what I do is I create a series of folders based on the genres, because I tend to be quite a mood reader, but the kind of moods that I have these days are moods for particular genres. So I've organized my books as such. If you are a mood reader but you look for different things, then create folders that work for you. So maybe you're the kind of person who thinks, oh, I'm in the mood for a short book, I'm in the mood for a series, I'm in the mood for a long book. Maybe that's how you organize things. If you think I'm in the mood for particular tropes, then maybe you create folders for different tropes. So maybe if you're a big romance reader, you might have a folder for friends to lovers, you might have a folder for forbidden romance, like whatever it is. That might be how you organize things. I don't know why. Oh, my screen's gone dark. So really, I highly encourage you to make this work for you, but I'm going to talk you through the genres that I have here. So first of all, we have the ARCs folder. So this contains any of the books that I've received via NetGalley or another platform to review in advance of publication date. You might notice by some of those titles that I'm quite behind, but that's a story for another day. Then we have the business and money folder. So I actually run my own business. I'm a life and business coach, and because that is my profession, I do like to read things in my subject area. Classics, self-explanatory, contemporary and literary fiction. So this is quite the catch-all. So you will see quite a variety of things in here. And you'll probably notice that I have both books that I own and Kindle Unlimited books in the mix here. Then we've got crime and thriller, essays and short stories. Oh, this one needs moving. I've just finished that one. So once something's been read, you just hold your finger over it, add to collection, and then I will make sure that it is in red, and I will untick it from essays and short stories. So it's only the unread books that are in these folders. Then we have historical fiction. It's definitely my most abundant folder. Magic and fantasy. Memoirs and biography. Again, the not for me folder. Then we have non-fiction. So obviously memoirs and biographies, they're non-fiction too, but these tend to be more of the educational things on random topics. So it's not necessarily something that I'm going to read for work. And it's also not something that is going to be for like personal development. So it's not self-help. It's all the miscellaneous non-fiction. Then we've got red, recipes and food. So intuitive eating and just eat it. Technically not recipe books, but they are relating to food. So I've popped them in there too. Retellings, because that seems to be something I'm obsessed with. And this is both fairy tale retellings, mythological retellings, and I think I have a couple of Shakespeare retellings in here too, because that's a subgenre that I pretty much love. Then we have romance, which is another abundant category. Spirituality and personal development. So any self-helpy type books go in here. And then last but not least, we have the TBR folder. So these are a lot of the books that I'm feeling particularly excited about at the moment. I need to remove this one again, because like I said, I finished it. It's very good, by the way. So those are the folders. Those are the folders I use to keep my Kindle books organized. Now, the uncollected folder is where anything new ends up. So when you purchase something, when you send something to your Kindle, it will end up in this uncollected folder. And then I will just go through and find a spot for them. So here we have Wahala. I believe this is crime and thriller, so we'll pop it in there. Yeah. Then we have Acts of Desperation. Let's call this contemporary and lit fic. I know that there is like a theme of romance in there too, but that feels more apt. You have to make your own fun around here. Again, let's say contemporary and lit fic for that one. The Magician's Lie. I am just going to add that one straight to my TBR folder because that's my book club book for this month. Slammed by Colleen Hoover. Of course, that is a romance. An American Covenant. This is, I believe, a non-fiction that studies the history of witchcraft in America. Woman Eating. Want to add that to your arc. Another arc. It's annoying that sometimes they don't have the title clearly on the front of the book. The Club. This is a crime and thriller. The Bookshop is historical fiction. I actually want to read that one soon as well, but I already have quite a few on my TBR for now. Ruin is a romance. Lost Property is contemporary and lit flick, I think. Lit fic. And I will say that if I'm ever unsure, I will just tap book details, read the synopsis and give it my best guess. I don't spend a lot of time really considering the genre. I can't remember that one, so let's actually look at book details. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember now. So that one is also contemporary and lit fic. All right, so everything is nice and neatly filed away. Now let's talk about how this system actually helps me read more from my backlist collection. So every now and again, what I will do is I'll go through every single one of these folders. So I'll just sit here, spend maybe 10 minutes, and I'll just tap on each one, have a little scroll through, and I will pick 1 or 2 books from that folder and pop it into TBR. And I usually do choose 1 or 2 from every folder, with a couple of exceptions. So classics, I only choose something from there if I'm not already reading a classic either via audio or physically. So I never really have more than one classic on the go or on the horizon at once. I tend to pick only one non-fiction. So that might be a business and money one, it might be a memoir and biography, it might be a general non-fiction, or it might be a self-help one. I don't pick like 1 or 2 from each one. I might just pick 1 or 2 in total. But from any other genres, I will pick 1 or 2 each time. And then you end up with such a lovely variety of things to read. So right here you can see we've got intuitive eating, a non-fiction. We've got a romance, an arc, a comedy, a thriller, a horror, historical fiction, fantasy, romance, sci-fi, and we'll call this one historical fantasy. So a really wide variety of books. And what I love the most is that for the most part, these are not new. Like I've had a couple of them are, don't get me wrong, like Fortuna Swan, I've had a couple of months. Little Eyes, I've had a couple of days. But the rest have been sitting on my Kindle for a fair amount of time. So I really am dipping into my backlist a lot more than I had been. And that's something I'm really thrilled about. Sorry for that shake. My dog just started nuzzling my elbow. But hopefully you can see how simple this system is and how simple it would be for you to start implementing it yourself. So there you have it, my very simple, very idiot-proof Kindle management system. It really has helped me make sure that I'm reading a lot of the books that I own. And I'm definitely grateful for that. I think I've read some things that I've really enjoyed recently because of this system. And that's always something that's going to make me happy. So if you have your own Kindle organization system, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So definitely hop in and leave me a little note. Or if you want to start using mine, tell me about that too. Like that would make me feel really good. I'm gonna love you and leave you, but make sure that you have hit subscribe if you don't want to miss my next upload, and I will see you very soon.